Actor-turned-politician Patrick Dela Rosa has died at 64. His family confirmed in a short statement that triggered an outpouring of condolences across the entertainment and civic communities. The Provincial Information Office of Oriental Mindoro released a formal message acknowledging his years of public service and expressing sympathy for his loved ones. Within hours, archived clips and personal tributes circulated on social media, and colleagues from film sets to municipal halls began posting memories that sketched a life lived at the intersection of performance and practical care. Rise in 1980s cinema. Patrick first made his mark in the 1980s, a decade when Philippine film blended melodrama, action, and social realism in ways that demanded versatile performers. He arrived in the industry after formative years in provincial theater, where he learned timing, physical presence, and the discipline of long rehearsals. Casting directors noticed a certain plain-spoken authenticity in his early appearances, a face and voice that read as neighborly rather than starched, and a willingness to let small, truthful choices carry a scene. His career in that era was characterized by steady, workmanlike craft rather than headline stardom. He was cast across genres, romantic dramas where he registered heartbreak in a single lowered gaze, action pictures where he stood firm amid crowd sequences, and socially inflected films that required him to embody everyday moral conflict. Critics later pointed out that his best work came when directors gave him room for understatement, a hold on a note, a beat of silence, a barely audible correction of tone that opened space for co-actors to respond. On set, he cultivated habits that earned respect. Peers recount him arriving early to rehearse blocking, staying late to help reset equipment, and quietly coaching less experienced actors between takes. Directors appreciated an actor who listened as well as performed, someone who could take direction, test a variation, and then return a choice that felt inevitable. Those qualities kept him employed through a competitive decade and made his face familiar to generations of viewers who associate him with the texture of 1980s Philippine cinema. Transition to public service. As his on-screen role slowed, Dela Rosa turned to local politics with a practical, constituency-first approach. He won a seat on the provincial board of Oriental Mindoro and later held other municipal posts, translating public recognition into a platform for small, tangible projects. His priorities were modest but concrete, repairing barangay roads, funding potable water schemes, supporting livelihood training for fisherfolk and farmers, and nudging municipal budgets toward culture and youth programs. Colleagues in government described him as pragmatic rather than performative. He preferred site visits and follow-through to press events, and he cultivated relationships across party lines when it meant delivering services. Community leaders recalled a politician who returned phone calls late at night, showed up to mediate disputes, and insisted that promised projects be completed rather than merely announced. Dela Rosa also lent his experience to cultural initiatives, serving on advisory panels for community theaters, sponsoring scholarships for performing arts students, and using benefit performances to fund local needs. In these ways, he tried to convert celebrity into civic utility. Personal life. Patrick's private life was quietly anchored in family and routine. He maintained strong ties to relatives in Oriental Mindoro and housed a close circle of lifelong friends from his early theater days. Nephews and nieces remember him less as a public figure and more as a steady presence. A man who showed up for recitals, helped with school fees when needed, carried out small household repairs for relatives, and hosted regular family meals where stories and laughter circulated freely. Friends describe a man who prized simplicity. After stepping back from full-time showbiz, he chose a modest home, a small garden he tended himself, and a routine built around morning walks, church on Sundays, and community visits. He preferred conversation over spectacle and took satisfaction in the gradual progress of small projects rather than in grand gestures. Those closest to him recall private rituals, late-night phone calls with siblings, a penchant for cooking a particular regional dish for family gatherings, and a willingness to listen without rushing to advice. He also took mentorship seriously. Younger relatives and aspiring actors cite his blunt, practical counsel about contracts, pacing creative work, and maintaining boundaries in public life. He encouraged them to develop skills, to respect the craft, and to guard health and relationships against the pressures of visibility. For many, these personal teachings felt as consequential as any public accomplishment because they shaped livelihoods and shaped how younger people navigated both creative fields and civic engagements. Memories from colleagues and community. The reactions from colleagues emphasize consistent traits: professionalism, mentorship, and a low-key generosity. Co-workers remembered Dela Rosa calming nervous newcomers on set, offering line coaching during rehearsals, and reworking scenes to help co-stars find emotional truth. Directors recalled his readiness to collaborate and his patience during long reshoots. Producers remembered punctuality and a habit of treating the crew as integral contributors rather than background extras. In political and civic circles, barangay captains and local artists told stories of impromptu visits that resolved long-standing problems. Phone calls returned at odd hours, and a willingness to step into municipal logistics when needed. Community theater organizers credited him with sustained, if modest, support that allowed grassroots performances to continue. These recollections painted a portrait of someone whose public and private actions formed a consistent pattern: show up, listen, and help finish the work. Final arrangements, legacy, and closing. Family members asked for privacy as they finalized funeral arrangements, expressing gratitude for condolences while requesting space to grieve. Plans for tributes have begun to take shape. Colleagues discussed curated film screenings to highlight his 1980s work. Local partners had considered commemorative events tied to community projects he championed, and relatives prepared private services to gather those closest to him. Patrick Dela Rosa's legacy is not singular. On screen, he remains part of a generation that sustained Philippine popular cinema through versatility and craft. In public life, he left a record of small, hands-on civic interventions. In private, he was a mentor, uncle, and neighbor whose ordinary acts of care left lasting marks on family and friends. The immediate response: a stream of archival clips, stories from set, and municipal acknowledgments, reflects a life that bridged performance and service. As retrospectives, memorials, and private remembrances unfold, the fuller measure of his impact will be traced in both the films people revisit and the community projects that continue to serve the people he sought to help. Patrick Dela Rosa's passing leaves a legacy of versatile screen work and grounded public service, remembered through film retrospectives, community tributes, and the everyday kindnesses he showed colleagues and family.